And we want to talk about CSST hosted servers that Miles Technologies hosts. There's currently 5 of those. They're all in our server racks, in our server room. Therefore, they're all on the internal IP address configuration 192.168. So I want to show you how to log into them and some of the considerations that you need to keep in mind when you go there. I have remote desktop as a icon on my desktop. If it's not there, then you can find it under Start, All Programs, Accessories, Remote Desktop Connection. Just double click that. It brings up the remote desktop connection, which I have to drag over to this monitor so you can see it. The first one that I want to connect to, the first of our servers that I want to connect to is 192.168.102.6. And the reason for that is because it currently does not have credentials saved. So this would be the process starting from scratch, basically, for somebody who has not been supporting these servers in the past, and therefore doesn't have all the credentials stored and so forth in the remote desktop connection on your particular desktop machine. So when you click connect, you're going to get the login dialog. On all of our servers, we log in as administrator, and on all of our servers except the New Hampshire servers, the password is the same, and that is all lowercase SN0M $, and that will get you in. Okay. I'm going to log back out and show you a couple of things, and forgive me if I'm preaching to the choir on this because many of you will know this already, but just so that everybody's on the same page, there's a couple of things that you can do to make your life easier, and that is that when you go to connect, this will be the default out of the box with a new address that you haven't used before. If you open up on the remote desktop connection, open up the options and then check the checkbox, allow me to save credentials, and then connect. And the first time you'll have to type in, administrator if it's not already there, and the password. But then it will save those, and then for all future access to that particular server, that particular IP address, it'll log you in automatically. You don't have to type all that stuff in, and it just makes life simpler. The other thing that you should do, again, and all of these things that I'm talking about here are specific to your particular desktop. In other words, the version, or not the version, but the specific application of remote desktop RDP that's running on your desktop. So if you were to move to a different desktop, you'd see this in a different way and have to reset it. The other thing is local resources. So with the options opened up, the local resources tab should be set so that you can have printers and clipboard. In other words, both of these checkboxes should be checked. So that you can cut and paste, so that you can print when you're logged into the remote server, and you can cut and paste across from the remote server back to your own desktop if you have any need to do that, and it comes up more frequently than you might think, at least in my experience. The other thing is click the More button, make sure that you have drives accessible as well. The rest of this, and you can then open this up and specify specific drives that will be accessible to you. And what you're doing here is you're saying, make my own local resources, my local desktop and network resources, if appropriate, available to me from the remote desktop, so that when you open up a file find dialog, or a Windows Explorer window on the remote machine, that you will be able to then pick some resource on your own desktop as a resource. In other words, a place where you could either save or grab files, and that, in addition, also makes life considerably easier. So we'll reconnect here. This is, do we trust this remote connection? Well, yeah, probably so. It's ours. And the password, again, is SN0M. $$ and say OK, and off we go, and we're connected to the remote desktop. Now, on all of our servers that we host, I have set up icons on the desktop when you log in as administrator. Obviously, this is only true in the administrator profile. My computer is on the desktop. Many times there's a CSST icon, but that may or may not be appropriate. I'll address that a little bit more detail in a minute. When you click My Computer, of course, you get Windows Explorer up. And again, on all of our desktops, I have set up in favorites just for my own convenience, and of course yours too, the locations of the various CSST installs on that computer. Now, this one shows some of this is historical and no longer really valid, but this one shows 3 installs of CSST. Garrett County, GCCAC, CSST, JRF, which is Jewish Renaissance Foundation, and PRAB, which is Puerto Rican Action Board. So there's actually 3 separate installs of CSST on this server. And you can click on any one of those, and it will take you to the specific folders for that particular installation of CSST, and those are always going to be in this format: C /program files / some folder name specific to the one that you chose, the particular install you chose, and then another instance of program files underneath that, created by us, obviously, and then the CVC, which is historical based on the fact that we were CAD Value Corporation before we were bought out by Miles, and then CSST, and the root folder of all CSST installs on any machine, any server, anywhere is going to be that /CSST. So, and people need full read-write access rights to anything in that folder and any subfolder of that folder, and in the data folders if they're not within the data structure underneath this path as you see it here now. Now, on this particular server, 102.6, let's go back and look at the favorites again. Garrett County has been moved to a different server. So while the installation of CSST is still here, it's not active, and it's not used for anything. So there's no reason to even look at that. Jewish Renaissance Foundation has theoretically moved their installation of CSST to their own servers. However, looking at the data folder here and the date modified, we see that let's make it the most recent date modified. We see dates as recently as October 11th of this year. We're now in November of this year. So there may be some activity still in that particular installation of CSST. The other one that is active is Puerto Rican Action Board, and we see, all we did was change the path here slightly so that we're looking at that particular install of CSST. I'm going to log off of this server and log on to another. This is fairly typical. It takes a few seconds for things to happen. Remote desktop. Okay, the next one that I want is 102.8. This is the Garrett County server, and you'll see here that I have already set up login credentials on this, so when I click connect, okay, I'm not sure why it's asking me this today because it doesn't normally, but we'll say yes, and we'll say don't ask me that again, and we'll connect. And we are going to 102.8 Garrett County. Now this is a command.exe, a login batch file that comes up that sets up some drive mappings and so forth that they need for their connection to some of their internal network resources. So don't worry about that. It's not something that we have to deal with. If we do, it would be our IT department that deals with it, not software support. But every time you log into this server, that batch file will come up. Now, CSST, because this is a single customer server, there's only one CSST user on this server, Garrett County, Maryland. CSST here, the icon will be correct in terms of running CSST. On the other servers, including the 102.6 that I just had up, you would, to run CSST, the easiest, probably the easiest way to run CSST, you can do it from a command window, but the easiest way to run it is to go favorites, choose the folder, and we have it set up here as well, even though there's only one here. And then scroll down in that CSST folder. The executable for CSST is cssstx.exe, and then you can just double click it to run it. In this particular case, the CSST icon is set for that executable, and it will work just fine also.